Hello, and welcome to my reselling channel, Flippin' Hippos. I'm Star. Today is Wednesday, so I try to always do a video on either midweek motivation or organization on Wednesdays. Last Wednesday, I covered why time blocking is important and pertinent. Time blocking is so super important for resellers. It's impertinent. Having a good routine, organization, time management, all of that is just like the cornerstone of success. So last week I talked to you about why it is so super important to implement time blocking and how it can help you and benefit you. This week, we're talking about how to implement time blocking as a reseller. So if you're new to this idea of time blocking and you're kind of floundering around, you don't have good routines, you don't have good time management, this video is for you. We're going to learn how to implement time blocking into your day and your schedule so that you can be more efficient, more productive, and make more money, more successful, right? So identify your core tasks. There's 3 that we have to do every day. We must ship what sold, we must list to sell more, and we must source to replace what sold. We have to ship, list, and source. Now, listing includes photography, researching, and pricing. Sometimes it includes prepping items. Say you have tennis shoes that need cleaning or items that need measured. All of that can fall under the listing, but just keep in mind that under that listing umbrella is all these other tasks, and you always want to batch work. You want to measure it all, photograph it all, list it all. We also have to organize our inventory, do bookkeeping and admin things, customer service, content if you create content. So write yours down, because yours aren't going to be the same as mine or anyone else watching this video. Everyone is unique. I hope you brought a pen and paper. I feel like I told you last week that you would need to bring a pen and paper today. But if I did forget to tell you and you didn't bring it or whatever, pause the video, go get a pen and a paper and come back. Because from here, you're going to need it. You're going to need that to take notes. So write down your core task categories. Daily, maybe weekly, monthly. Like a daily, I have listing, shipping, and I only source when I need to, and I do most of that online. So I would time block that in maybe once a month. And for me, bookkeeping is time blocked in once a week on Fridays. Content is time blocked in for Thursdays, sometimes Wednesdays. So think of all that in your mind. Like, what do you have to do every day? What should be done once a week? And what should be done once a month? Then you got to identify your peak hours. Are you a morning person? Are you slow in the morning and then you kind of perk up in the afternoon? Are you a night owl? Put your hardest task in your highest energy window. So whatever you struggle with, whatever you don't like doing, whatever is the hardest for you to do, put your hardest task in your highest energy window. So if you're kind of in the morning, maybe you want to do your shipping first, because you don't want to make mistakes with shipping, but that's kind of something you don't really need to be wide awake and bouncing off the walls, and it's your highest energy level. You can pick your items if you have a good inventory management system, get your labels and ship them out. If you find that listing is easy for you and you kind of do that on autopilot, you can do that in the morning. You can do organizing in your low energy times, and you can do photography and sourcing in your high energy times, whatever's going to work for you. So underneath your core tasks, write down when you're most awake and what tasks you want to tackle at that time. Now we're getting to step 3, which is batching. I've already mentioned that because it's super, super, super important. Instead of taking a shirt, measuring it, photographing it, listing it, you want to take 10 shirts, measure them all, then photograph them all, and then list them all. You want to take 10 pairs of sneakers, clean them, photograph them, list them. Or you can do time blocking instead of amounts. Instead of 10 shirts, do an hour of photos, an hour of listing. By batch working, you stay in one mental mode and your body goes on that autopilot, the muscle memory. If you're just doing something over and over and over again, you're going to get faster at it. So you want to stay in one task at a time to get into that mode, that like almost an autopilot mode. Create a simple daily block template. So you can do this by time or not. My blocks are not specifically to a time because I find that a little constricting, even for someone like me who is super organized and every minute of my day is scheduled. But I get up at 7:30. Now, on a Tuesday after a 3-day weekend, our shipping could take till 10:30 or even later, depending on how much we sold. On a Monday morning, it could take till 10. On a Wednesday, which is probably our lowest, I'd say Wednesday is our lowest shipping day. For some reason, we don't sell as much Tuesdays overnight. I got 5 items. I might be done with shipping by 8 a.m. So I don't try to schedule by the time specifically. I just do the blocks. Like first I do shipping, then I do delisting, relisting, then I do listing. And so I just have blocks of time for each of my activities rather than I wake up at 7:30 and from 7:30 to 8:30 I do shipping because maybe it's not every day till 8:30. But if you can be very specific in the time and you'd like to be, you can. Or just block activities. I like that way better because it gives you a little bit of leeway. It's just important that you have, first I do this, and then I do this. But you also want to maybe do a time without a time. And that sounds confusing. Instead of saying I take photos from 1 to 3 p.m., just say I take photos after lunch for 2 hours. So you're not locked into a time. Just make sure you have those blocks set in and how long you're going to do them for. The ones that you can predict how long you're going to do them for. You really can't predict shipping because you never know how much you're going to sell. And I think you really can't predict listing. So just go by how much you want to list each day. And there's 2 ways to do that. Either I want to list 10 items a day or I want to list $200 worth of inventory. So pick a dollar amount or a total item amount and list that. Because I don't think you can predict how long that's going to take you. It depends on what you're listing. If you're only a part-time seller, of course, keep in mind that you're going to want to spend less time on this than a full-time seller. I'm using examples like photograph for 2 hours and list for 2 hours. Well, if you're a part-time seller, you don't have that kind of time. So maybe you do a half an hour. Just work it in however you need to around your other job and your other responsibilities. Do these time blocks. If you can put these blocks into place and you get used to them over time, it takes 30 days to create a new habit. So when you first start a new habit, say making the bed in the morning, exercising, time blocking your business, the first 15 days, the first 2 weeks are the roughest. This is when you're going to forget things and have to remind yourself. And this is why it's important to write it down and have a good routine written down, because you're going to have to check it. You're going to have to look at it. You're going to have to remind yourself. But after about 30 days of doing the same thing in the same order, it becomes a habit. Once you've created a habit, it's sustainable and it's repeatable. We've talked about low motivation days on here before. So always keep that in mind when you have a low motivation day or a day where things happen outside of your control and you don't have as much time to work on your business. Decide on what is your minimum viable action. What's more important that day, photos or listing? Those are the 2 things I would say you should do every day, even on those low motivation days or days where life happens. So on normal days, you're going to have that normal time block. You're going to do everything we've talked about up to this point. But on days where you have a headache, you have low motivation, your kids are home from school on vacation and they're loud, your dog had to go to the vet, you had to take your car to the shop, Any number of things can happen. Life is life, and life likes to life, right? Choose one. And don't lock it in. Don't say every time life happens or I have a low motivation day or I'm not feeling it, that I'm always going to take that day to do listings or I'm always going to take that day to do photos. Which one's more important that day? If you don't have any photos taken, clearly you have to take some photos. If you have photos taken, you have a bank of photos, then maybe you do listings. If you have listings scheduled, which I highly recommend, then you can take extra photos. You just kind of have to decide where you're at on those days and do what needs to be done. But don't give up completely. Yes, give yourself days off. You know how important I think work-life balance is. Give yourself whole ass day. A whole ass day. Give that to yourself. Take that whole day off or a whole evening. But on a work day, when things happen or you're just not feeling it, still force yourself to work a little bit. You'll think your future self will thank you. Protect your blocks. Listen, your time blocks are going to become sacred and you need to protect them. If you're listing, don't get up and go to the thrift store. Don't get distracted and go on auction websites and start buying stuff. Your listing block is for listing and listing only, and that is valuable, and you need to protect that. Don't get distracted. And I think listing is the one where we get distracted the most, which is why I'm going to harp on this for a minute. When you're listing, I really do believe that is the easiest time to get distracted because we are on our computers and probably on our phones, comping, looking at things. I know a lot of people use both phone and computer while they're listing. It's so easy to get distracted and end up scrolling through Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, spending hours looking at comps, getting distracted, going over here, doing this, going down a rabbit hole. Protect all of your blocks, okay? I'm just using listing as an example because it's so easy. Once you're already on a phone, oh, there's a notification. Oh, that reminds me. Yeah, okay, I need to go over here and do this. Oh, and that reminds me. It is so easy. Okay, so protect your blocks. Don't do random YouTube research when you're just trying to comp an item on eBay. Don't get up and reorganize your inventory room when you're taking photos. Don't get up and go sourcing when it's time to create your content. Focus. Put your timer on if you need to, or if you're doing, the 10 items and then I can quit, that's fine too. Reward system. I highly believe in rewarding yourself. Every time you complete a task or a time block, you get a reward. That's when you get your 10 minutes on TikTok or 10 minutes on YouTube. But keep it to 10 or 15 minutes. You don't want to take a whole bunch of really long breaks throughout the day because then you break your rhythm and you're fiddle farting around too much and not getting enough work done. Set timers, but go for a walk. I always recommend people to take an actual break for your lunch. I have a lot of friends who bring their lunch to their desk and work over their lunch. If you're running behind, I can see doing that, but for the most part, try to take an actual break. Leave your office or the space where you work. Go to your dining room or kitchen or somewhere else. Eat your lunch in peace. Eat your lunch while you look at TikTok or read a chapter of your book or watch an episode of your show. I think it's really important to take those breaks throughout the day for that work-life balance and then to reward yourself each time you complete a task. Don't take too much time off. A reward can be as simple as getting up and getting an iced coffee or just walking around the house real quick and stretching, Some advanced tips, you can create theme days. And this is what I do. I have a lot of theme days. So if you've ever wondered how I get so much done in so very little time, is because I'm very strict about my time blocking. I protect those blocks and I do what I need to do, but I also have theme days. So Wednesday is for photography heavy, typically. Thursday is for filming and social media and content. Tuesdays, I try to do more listing heavy. So I try to build listings out of all the photographs I've been taking into listings that are ready to go. They're a bank, so I can just push them out. I try to do my bookkeeping and running my sales and all that on Friday, like admin tasks. So this method works really well for people who are really trying to scale or just really trying to focus more. If you have attention, I don't want to say disorder, but like if you have attention deficit disorder or ADD and you find it hard to focus for long periods of time, theme days are probably not for you. If you're type A personality or OCD and you can focus in, theme days are great for you. But if you're not that, if you're not like me, theme days are probably a big no. And you want to do all the things, all the days in little increments and smaller amounts, because that'll keep you moving from task to task to task so that you don't get bored and you're fulfilling that need to go from task to task to task. So you have to figure out your personality too. So the real reason time blocking works is it shifts your mindset from I work when I feel like it to I'm operating a business. I have a job. I have these tasks that I need to do each day. I have a schedule that I need to adhere to, and these are the things that I need to do. Remember, first I do this, and then I do this, and then I do this. Reselling is flexible. You will have the ability to do what you need to do as your own boss and being a reseller. Absolutely flexible. You can work it around anything that happens in your life. But flexibility without any type of structure just becomes chaos. So if every day is flexible and I'll just do this whenever no, that's not what I mean by flexible. I mean having structure. You don't want chaos. Have all of this structure and all of these routines and all of these time blocking procedures put into place so that when you have a doctor's appointment, you can be flexible, but your work remains done. So that on the day you have a headache, you can say, hey, I have a headache. It's a low motivation day. I'm just going to take a couple of pictures and then go lay down. It's fine to be flexible, but not to have chaos. And it's fine to take time off when you need to, but not to fiddle fart around all day. Being flexible is not a free pass to sit on YouTube all day while you don't get any work done. Time blocking can give you control, momentum, measurable output, and peace of mind. And it's a really good way for those of you who have a harder time concentrating to keep yourself on track and focused by moving from task to task seamlessly throughout your day. And don't forget those little rewards every time you complete a task. If you have any questions, comments, concerns about anything you saw in this video, let me know in the comments. Hit the like button and the subscribe because it helps me feed my hungry hippos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.